Okay, today we are going to talk about Wind River's Avaya 1X portal for IP Office. And I'll start sharing my screen here. So 1X portal allows you to do anything that you do on your mobile device, also from a web browser, such as instant messaging and call control. So I'm going to log out of mine here so I can show you how to log in. Each individual office will have its own login or its own domain that's registered. For instance, San Diego's is San Diego dot 1x mobile. I'm sorry, it's remote.sandiego.windriver.com. Yes, remote.sandiego.windriver.com will bring you to your splash page for your 1X portal. Each office will be different. We'll make sure they get sent out to you. So I'm going to go in with my credentials, which will also be provided to you. You'll get your credentials to log into this. The first time you log in, though, be aware it does take a little longer than mine did today to get in. And when you first come in, your appearance will look like this. It's a lighter gray, a white, kind of a dull layout, and it's a little harder to see for me. So I always go down to the appearance here that you can see, and I change it to the darker skin, the darker black, the darker gray, easier on the eyes. Now there's also a 1X mobile plugin for Outlook. We'll show that in a later video. But when you first log in, it looks much like this. It gives you several control features. If you've looked at or taken the training for the Avaya 1X mobile application, everything that happens on the mobile application also happens here in the portal. They work hand in hand. So if you have someone in the office that's instant messaging you or calling you, it'll show up on your mobile phone and vice versa. So it's all integrated. In the left corner here is my call control. So I start up here, I can dial a number just like I'm in the office. So if you're in the US, you dial out with a 9. If you're international, you dial out with a 0 first. And then you just begin to put in the rest of your number. And it uses your phone on your desk as your talk path unless you're in a soft phone setting. And I'll show that later as well. I also have a keypad, so I can dial it here using my numbers or just clicking on my keypad. And while I'm on the call, I get full call control. I can drop the call, I can place it on hold, I can record the call, I can mute the call, I can add it to a conference call. And I get all this full call control whether I'm in the office or out of the office because I've got that fully qualified domain name, and I've got a security application in place so that we have encryption and all if you want to work outside your office. So full call control is great. The conferencing feature in here is amazing. If I've got multiple people on a call, I get an animated icon next to the person that's talking so I know who's speaking on the call. I can mute them, I can hang up on them, drop them off the call rather. So it gives me some of that call control as well, very nice. Now down below it, I've also got my conversation history, and this shows all my calls basically, and it breaks them into categories. All calls, incoming calls, outgoing calls, missed calls, and it also has IMs if I want those. So I can go in and click to call any of these back, see the date and time they called me. It gives me some of that. I can add them to a personal speed dial list as well. So very nice. I don't have to remember their number anymore. It's all in there. Also, I've got this world clock application. It's just kind of defaulted in there. I don't really use that as much, but it comes up. On the right-hand side, I've got my directory. So under the System tab, this is everyone I work with. And for instance, if I wanted to talk to Brad, I can roll over him and see that he's green. So I see his status is available. I can roll over his phone and I can call him by clicking that. It calls his office number or office extension 3310. I can add him to a conference call, and then I can also click on the chat and talk to Brad through a chat as well. And if Brad wasn't available or we got into a lengthy IM that needed to turn to a call, I can simply just click call and call out to Brad. So I have that instant messaging functionality as well. And I can also set up a personal speed dial list of whoever I want, an external speed dial list of external people. So I have that functionality as well. Below that, I have the voicemail plugin. So this gives me all my voicemails. I can play them over my browser. I can play them over my phone on my desk. fully UC compatible, so if I delete it here, it deletes it on my desk. If I delete it on my mobile phone, it deletes it everywhere else. So full UC. I can click to call the number back. I can listen to it. I can forward it as an email. A lot of things you can do with those voicemails. So I have that function as well. If you notice, my name has me as available, but it shows me busy. So I can set my presence here as well. Up in the top where it says away, I can drop this down and I can actually say, hey, let's say do not disturb, and then I'm off site. So as soon as I do that and click OK, it shows me off-site and do not disturb. So I've got the X and the red, so anyone can see that, whether they be on a mobile phone or on another OneX portal device. And remember, you can use any browser. I'm on Firefox. You can use Chrome. You can use Safari, Internet Explorer. It's really up to you what you want to use. So that's the basic layout of OneX Portal for IP Office when you browse to the website of it. But there are also some plugins I want to talk about. If you go to the Configuration tab, the first one I really want to go to is the desktop integration right here. It's the 5th tab over. And there's a few things you'll want to download right away to start using. For instance, the prerequisites. So the Microsoft.NET framework needs to be installed. That gives you some pop-up functionality, what we call Toaster Pop, which will pop down here in your tray by your clock. Gives you a bit of call control, hang up, caller ID, a little bit of call control down there, but it also gives you click to dial, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. The next one down is very nice. In fact, I use this more than I use the website. I just use the plugin for my Outlook, which I'll show as well. The plugin will need to be downloaded, installed, and if you're using Microsoft Outlook, will need to be restarted. And then the third plugin is for Salesforce, which is something that Wind River may be doing down the road. So back to profiles. So I can set up mobile 20. Remember, mobile 20 rings my desk phone and my mobile phone simultaneously. So it allows me to answer the phone wherever I'm at mobily. And now we've got the security appliance in place provided by Avaya and Cambridge Telecom. It gives you that full security, full TLS encryption, so that we can work from anywhere and not have any problems being hacked. So in there I've got my mobile 20 forwarding telecommuter, and I've set my number in there, so you'll want to set that if you haven't done it from your phone already. So you'll start seeing buttons displayed on your phone that say mobility, and those will have to be enabled for mobility to be turned on. Next I have my telephony tab. I talked about that click to call. Right here is where it is. There's some hotkeys here. So Control plus Alt plus C allows me to click to call any number in any application. So if you're in Outlook, if you're on a web page, and a program, you can simply highlight it, Control Alt C, and it will start using your telephone. Will start calling that number and use it as your talk path. So I've got that as well. The next tab, D&D exceptions. It is what it is. I can select anyone from my personal or systems list and allow them to break through my send all calls or do not disturb. And then lastly, the IM and presence. Just kind of gives you some setup applications. You know, wanting to make a noise when someone sends you an IM. I've got a picture of myself and my family there, so you can put a picture of yourself up as well. So that is OneX Portal.